The Division I Conference Championships for outdoor track and field are over. And the reason why that actually matters is because on that weekend, all of the best athletes in the NCAA are supposed to take care of business. And on top of all that, it's the closest thing that we're ever going to get to a true team competition in track and field. But historically speaking, if you really want to watch the fastest men in all of college, then you gotta pay attention to the SEC conference meet on that weekend. The SEC is so competitive that athletes like Grant Holloway and Joseph Fahnbulleh both lost their individual events at their final conference meets for their entire career, but still went on to win the NCAA title just a few weeks later. And for the record, when they lost at their conference meets, so did the Florida Gators. And when they won in the national meets, so did the Florida Gators. And entering the conference meet again this year, 3 of the 4 fastest men in all of Division I in the 100-meter dash were from the SEC. And they've all broken 10 flat already. So I already knew that this meet was going to be something ridiculous. And as much as I wanted to lump the SEC in with all the other D1 conferences, there was no possible way I could pull that off because they are just too good. Which is why I had to give them their own video. So if you didn't pay attention to one of the greatest track and field events on the entire annual calendar, and yes, I'm still aware this is an Olympic year, allow me to fill you in. Because the men in the SEC did not fail to entertain. There were so many amazing performances that happened on the weekend that I'm not even going to try to address it all. I apologize in advance if I left you off of the video. But just remember, I'm rattling this all off from memory. And I'm also very aware that athletes who didn't even make conference finals in the SEC likely could have won another conference somewhere else in D1. But hey, you chose to go to the SEC because if all the fast men get together on one track, somebody's gonna have to look slow. And that is exactly what the men of LSU did in the 4x1 because they won the event, lowering their collegiate lead to 38.19 seconds. That doesn't just make them the fastest team in college. They're also one of the fastest teams in the world right now. Auburn was the collegiate leader for a good portion of the season, but now after losing to LSU twice, I'm starting to think that they don't have the speed to keep up. But if you're new here, I have to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best high school track and field recruits in the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comments section because I try to read them all. And Godson Oghenbrume of LSU proved that it wasn't a fluke because he won the 100-meter dash in 9.99 seconds. Win legal. Remember, he still had to take out the collegiate leader in order to do it. But all of that was just a warm-up for what would go down in the 400 because Christopher Morales-Williams of Georgia won the event in 44.05 seconds. That means he is not just the collegiate leader anymore. He is arguably the fastest man in the world right now. If you want an Olympic medal, you are going to have to go through him in order to get it. But I also told you the SEC has a bunch of collegiate leaders in their events. And Sam Whitmarsh of Texas A&M kept it going in the 800. He entered the meet as the collegiate leader, and he didn't need to run a new PR in order to win, so he didn't. And for much of the meet, athletes whom we already knew were way better than almost anybody else in the NCAA did exactly what they do. Romaine Beckford of Arkansas won the high jump, which is really not surprising because he's won the last 3 high jump championships, indoors and outdoors in the NCAA. Tariq Robinson O'Hagan of Ole Miss proved that he's arguably the best thrower in the country, still, by winning the shot put and the hammer. And Wayne Pinnock of Arkansas did exactly what he does by winning the long jump, because that's what a collegiate leader does. But the big performance that I cannot overlook is Tarsis Orogot in the 200-meter dash. He ran 19.75 seconds to lower his collegiate lead, to make it clear that he is the man to beat right now in the NCAA outdoors. And to be clear, that race actually mattered for the team title because it came down to his Alabama team and Arkansas by less than 10 points for the title. And although the World Relays already happened, the Arkansas Razorbacks are now the world leaders in the 4x4, which explains why Arkansas pulled it out 110 to 104. And I also have to mention that the Florida Gators still had 100 points. They did finish fourth in the meet, but remember, they almost never win the SEC and still can go on to win the NCAAs, like they did last year. So if you actually love track and field, and you actually love competition, the SEC Conference meet is clearly where it's at, because their teams recruit some of the best athletes in the world, and then they all face off against each other, where every event and every race actually matters. But to be honest, even if all you ever do is score a few points in the SEC meet, you likely could win a conference championship individually somewhere else in D1. And maybe now you'll take me seriously the next time that I ever mention that the SEC is basically professional track and field, disguised as college athletics. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.